This was sent to me by Urban Closer, produced by Urban
Okay,
Closer. All right, let me get this old tweet going and we ready to roll.
let's do it.
All right, Twitter done. Go over here to Blue Sky real quick.
Oh shit.
All right, now we ready to roll. Ready to roll. Ready to roll. Ready to roll. What's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? In the background, if you're coming in late or watching on the replay, these are some sounds by our very own, produced by Urban Closer. Like what you hear? Let me know in the comment section. If you're here now, thumbs up it. Um, MJ, I'm sure he'll be here at some point. And when he comes in, make sure we give him a shout out for dropping a few beats of us. This is one of three. I'll be featuring them throughout the rest of the summer and into the season. So, when you hear something different other than Locked Up, it's probably from Urban Closer. So, I appreciate you, MJ, for dropping that on us. But let's get on into our show. What's good, Chris?
Not much, man. Excited to get into this. Our favorites that we haven't spoke about yet, because we did
Right.
speak about a lot of our favorites already. But just gonna be fun to circle back on some guys who we wanted to include.
Yeah, this was a good idea to bring in, just not do a position group, but bring in certain guys, and honestly, it might be a format for later on. That way, we'll still hit different groups, but it just won't be like locked in all O line, and we may touch and get some different people that wanted to see a cornerback and a different group. So we'll see how this goes and how it plays out, and maybe be a blueprint for things to come. Lord willing, we here next year to do this.
Yeah, sounds good. Always trying to get better.
Yeah. So first we're going to do your three first. Let me put them on the screen. No, I don't want to do slide 6. I'm going to go to slide 1. And let's go here. And this is still not what I wanted. Move that, add that. There we
There
go.
we go.
Jacob Parrish. So Jacob Parrish is the cornerback from Kansas State. 229.04 birthday, 5'10, 191, arm length 30 and 7/8, 10-yard split, 154, 40-yard dash, 4.35, bench press 12. What I liked about Jacob, and you talked about Jacob on an early episode, and you talked about the fighting between him and, if I'm not mistaken, it was Noel from
Hmm.
Iowa State, correct?
Yeah.
So that kind of put him on my radar when you said that to go check him out. And what I liked about him, he got all those outside reps. So he is a true outside corner. Got pretty good makeup speed when he does get beat. He's really good in zone and press man. Catch man, he's kind of iffy, or any kind of man where he not pressing, he kind of iffy, but in press man, he's straight. Tackling, and I always put that about DBs because they just don't seem like they're interested. And then his height versus taller receivers is a concern for me as well. Your 2 cents on Mr. Jacob Parrish.
Yeah, so he's somebody who really caught my eye. Everybody has certain biases with certain positions, and I like the tough, scrappy cornerbacks, kind of like Tavon Young style in that kind of regard, where they're not the best, they're not the most athletically gifted or physically gifted, but every week they're gonna show up and they're gonna battle their asses off. And this dude, he's one of them. Like Coach said, not the biggest guy in the world. Doesn't have the desired length or size that you would see on, any typical outside corner like Jimmy Smith or somebody like that. But he's just scrappy, man. He has versatility to line up on the inside, on the outside. Doesn't back down going up against bigger wide receivers. You see him going up against Ted McMillan, and he's right in his face, the whole
Mm-hmm.
game. Whenever he was lined up on him, he, as far as run defense is concerned, he is not scared to take on old linemen either. Like, he's not the biggest dude, but he will put his nose in there and he'll get scrappy. So that's another huge plus. I like cornerbacks who aren't scared to tackle. He can get a little bit grabby and then
Mm-hmm.
huggy at the top of wide receivers routes. But we spoke about that last week when with a bunch of different cornerbacks, and he's just learning the tricks of the trade.
Right.
He doesn't look like
not panicking.
Yeah, they just keep your cool, trust your technique, trust your speed, and for me, and this is something I'm always going to talk about. I thought he had top notch instincts and decision making skills. I like those guys who are cerebral. So you have the toughness, you have the football intelligence, and I was actually surprised at how well he tested at the combine. I wasn't too sure if he was going to be a real good tester or not, but I mean, he did his thing.
Yeah.
So
4.35 in the 40.
Yeah, so I was really surprised by that, and encouraged by it. And he kind of reminds me of like a great value version of Trent McDuffie. One of those guys who could probably, like, we saw him do it last year where he lined up on the outside a little bit, but he can do work for you on the inside. So he's somebody that I really like, and I think whichever team gets him, they're going to be getting a steal with him.
You see, you mentioned him versus Ted in the strengths from the Beast. They got him a twitchy reaction quickness and change of direction skills. Played really sticky coverage against Travis Hunter on the 2024 Colorado tape. So that's two of the best receivers right there that he got quality film against. So that kind of tells you that the greatness is in there. He just has to be more consistent with it, because maybe he's a gamer and he got up for them, the big name guys, and he got it on his mind. And then when he played just, I don't want to say regular guys, but not the top guys, he just kind of wasn't as focused as he should have been. But to have a good game versus Ted and have a good game versus Travis, that's going to do a lot for your resume going into next week with the draft coming up.
Yep.
What else the Beast has for him? State champion sprint and speed carries over the football. I talked about the twitchy stuff with Travis Hunter. Balanced footwork at the top of routes to redirect receivers. Always ball searching and times his swipes to knock away passes. Now that's one thing I don't see enough DBs doing. Just because the guy catches the ball, the play is not over. Because the receiver has to do so many things for it to be considered a catch, and the whole time he's trying to do that, as a DB, you just keep fighting to get it out. Because if it's 4 characteristics to a catch, the receiver has to have all 4 of those characteristics. Right. And anything that you can do to get that ball out, keep fighting.
Yep. We see that with Marlon Humphrey. We see him do that so well.
Just keep fighting. It says physical hands on the perimeter and looks to match physicality of bigger receivers. And I love that about him, because he ain't a huge guy, but to match that physicality and being physical with some tall receivers, they don't really like that. Them tall receivers don't like being touched and pulled and grabbed the bone. They get frustrated unless they got some girth about them. Them tall and skinny ones don't like that.
Right.
Drives downhill in the run game, strong open field tackler. Now, I didn't see this. I didn't see the good tackler. That's why I put tackling on mine. And maybe I just, dozed off or looked away or whatever. But when you're watching so many, they kind of blend in some. But I didn't see a great tackler there. But I'm just a guy with a camera and a microphone. Short but not small, has better build than given credit for. Quiet and reserved off the field, but looks to play loud on it and experience both outside and in the slot. So you got a versatile guy that don't mind coming up, sticking his nose in there, and I'll really fight you. And like you said, if you go back and watch that Iowa State game, him and Noel, they went tit for tat. They went tit for tat. The stats were on the PFF thing, but I ain't using the PFF when using the Beast. All right, so as his career, he got 5 total interceptions, 23 passes defended, and looks like all 3 years were at Kansas State. I just got to check one more thing. Junior or senior? I can scroll up and see. He is a 3rd-year junior. Okay, so you got a young cat. Only 21. Only 21, and I don't know how much you got to see of it. And I ain't, it's Elias learns, but they did ask a question about the older guys, and it's rare to see a younger guy in this draft because they 24, 25, 26. But DaCosta said this is probably last year we'll start seeing them older guys because they out of that COVID year mess.
Yeah, last year it felt like every dude we talked about was 30 years old.
Chris Winger would have fit right in this draft class. Him and him and Hayden Hurst. It'll fit right in. All right. Next guy on the board. Let me take him down. Let me remove. Add number 2, Walter Nolan. Walter Nolan, interior defensive lineman from Ole Miss, a stacked Ole Miss team. They got a ton of prospects. Born 10-14-03, 6'4", 300 pounds. Arm length 32 and a half. No 10-yard split. No 40. 27 bench press reps. I'm sorry. Position versatility for Nolan 0, 1, 3, a little bit of 5 as well. Short area quickness is awesome for a guy that size. He has extremely violent hands. So if you come in there playing patty cake, he's gonna probably try to break your wrist. And he's extremely athletic to be that big and that tall. Negatives, I need more consistency, and he does play high sometimes. What I mean by play high, instead of the ball snapped and him coming off flat back and low pad level, he'll stand up and start looking for the ball carry. And that, even though he's probably still controlling the offensive lineman, but when you just stand straight up and start looking, they have the tendency to get up under your pass and kind of move you where they want you to go. But as far as Walter Nolan, what you got on Walter Nolan, Chris?
Man, I really love Walter Nolan. I think he's up there as right up there with Mason Graham. Like I think his potential is probably the highest in his class, to be honest. The potential. Because everything is there, like the natural skill set that you want, the explosiveness, the twitchiness, the violence that he plays with. Everything is there. It just hasn't come together fully yet for him. And I think under the right tutelage, obviously, and the right like personnel around him, I think this dude could be special. Like I think I know the discussion right now is between him and Harmon. Like, who do you like more? And a lot of people think Harmon's the more consistent guy, the more steady Eddie, the higher floor. I agree with that, but I don't know why this draft class, I've been in love with players that have the higher ceiling, and to me, Walter Nolan has the higher ceiling. Now, sometimes you get bit by that because sometimes he does go rogue and he'll go hunt the quarterback when that's not supposed to be his job. And you'll kind of see his teammates get left out to dry a little bit. But when you have a player who makes the plays that he does, you kind of take the good with the bad. It's kind of like what we spoke about with cornerbacks, where sometimes they guess wrong and they get beat, but then sometimes they guess right and you got to pick six going the other way. So with a dynamic player like this, who like I said, plays with the twitchiness, the violence, I'm in love with what he brings to the table and what he could possibly bring to the Ravens, because a guy like this, he has the potential to be a true game changer on the interior.
To me, I saw flashes of that beast over there in Philadelphia.
Which one?
The real
Jalen?
beast over there. Yeah, the real
Jalen
beast.
Carter.
I saw flashes of, and not saying he could be Jalen Carter, so please don't put them words in my mouth, people. I'm just saying I saw flashes of what could turn out to be that. He, like I'm saying, them hands, when he do his chops and trying to get the hands of offensive lineman off of him, I swear to God, he should be arrested. Because I feel like he be trying to break wrists and forearms, and that's what you teach as a coach. You want them to be violent with their rips. You want them to be violent with their slap downs. The cross chop need to be hard as heck, because when you come with that one hand and the other, his hands is just nice, especially to be an interior guy. Ain't too many guards gonna be able to, once he get the final points of the NFL game, ain't too many guards gonna be able to do nothing with him unless he just fall off the cliff. But the way he looks on tape right now and is trending, upward, I put him in our rotation, and I like it.
He's not the biggest dude when it comes to interior players, but I think he still has more to add to his frame, to be honest. Like, he kind of it kind of looks slim on him, like, the weight
At
that
the
he
combine?
does that. Yeah, like I think there's still room to grow on that frame of his too. So I don't even think he's reached like the level as far as physical form. Like when you see a guy
Peak
coming out,
peak physical form.
right? Yeah, like
Mhm.
I don't think we've even seen him hit that stride yet, or when you compare him to other guys who are coming out. So I'm excited as hell to see where he lands. Maybe that's the Ravens.
Mhm.
Maybe it's not. Hopefully, it's not with an AFC North team.
Right.
But that dude, he's going to be fun to watch.
And what the Beast has for his strengths: explosive first step with equally explosive hands, has initial movements to cross face, shoot gaps, and live in gaps. Weaponizes weaponizes length and stab, and flashes a twitchy arm slap and arm over. That's what I'm talking about. Them violent moves, man. That's breaking wrists and forearms and them jokers. I know they get massages the next day after dealing with him. Relies on get off quickness as his source power to create push at contact. Rangy athlete for his size with the secondary quickness to finish behind the line of scrimmage. And do I have athlete on his thing? Because he's extremely athletic to be. Yeah, I do. He's extremely athletic to be that size. He moves like a 270, 260 guy with that 300 pounds. And I'm sure he plays higher than 300 pounds. I'm sure he got down to 300 for the combine to try to run a faster time. Got strong tackler in close quarters, rarely misses tackles, able to plant post leg and hold his own against doubles, plays hard, and his effort doesn't see major dips snap to snap. Let me ask you this question, Chris. In the past, I know when I was growing up and when I first started coaching, when D linemen would get double teamed, the coaches would tell them to grab grass and create a pile. We don't see much of that anymore in football. We don't see much of like if you got a one tech and guard and center double him, you just drop and create a mess. We don't see that no more. We see them guys keep fighting. Do you see that at all? And just looking at film.
I mean, I think you see it with like older guys. Like when we were doing chalk talk, like you would see Michael Pierce do that.
Yeah.
Michael Pierce was a king. He was going to get down on one knee. He was going to torque. He was going to make it as messy as he could for the offensive line and trying to close up any gaps that they're trying to make. But yeah, you don't really see it that much when it comes to prospects.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I do see that kind of moving away a little bit, and it could just be these guys are athletes, and they always think they can out athlete out of everything instead of making it a dirty game.
So I wonder if the guy that was mentioned last night when we were on, I wonder what he does for double teams. The kid from Florida, the 400 something pounder. I wonder how he takes on double teams. I wonder if he try to out athlete people. Be interesting to see.
Yeah.
All right. Next on our list is get that off. Add this back. Xavier Watts from that school in Indiana. I think it's in Indiana with the Golden Dome, and at least they did produce Kyle Hamilton. I give him that. But they called us convicts around these parts. So we ain't too kind, except for Kyle to the Notre Damers. But it's Xavier Watts, and I will say, watching him on tape and then getting this picture of him, I did not expect to see.
That's what that's why I said, damn, because he had dreads.
I did not expect to see this. Safety Notre Dame, 11-22-01, 6 feet 205, only 31 and a quarter, 10-yard split, 162 and 40 time 4.58. Extremely, extremely good instincts. Really a good instinctual safety as far as reading, recognizing, diagnosing, and being where he's supposed to be. He has a good trigger to the ball. His lack of, I would say, twitchiness prevents him from, whereas he gets pass defended, he probably get interceptions. And then but he has a great football IQ, and that kind of goes back to his instincts. What I don't like about him is a little stiffness in the hip. Not a lot, but you like your safety to be more fluent to be able to weave and go back and forth, because you got to read the quarterback eyes. If the quarterback looking this way, I got to be able to backpedal with that angle. Then if he flip back the other way, I got to be able to flip it and do that. And it takes him a little while to shift when quarterbacks do that to him. And lastly, he come in reckless at times. I feel like he's like, okay, I'm gonna knock you out, and he come in and bang on you. And I since I'm saying reckless, I'll mention somebody that my wife said I glossed over yesterday when we were talking about him. She said it was a bunch of Shiloh comments in there, and we got a follower that loves Shiloh. He acts like Shiloh at times, coming in just throwing his body, trying to knock people out instead of securing the tackle.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, if this dude was, if he was twitched up and more athletic, like he'd be a no brainer first round pick, in my opinion. But even so, even without that, he definitely plays faster than his time would
Mm-hmm.
indicate because of those instincts that you said. Just, I mean, we've seen countless players come in the league and not be super athletes or anything like that. I mean, shoot, the Ravens had one with Ed Reed.
Mm-hmm.
Not comparing him to Ed Reed, but when you have a feel for the game and a feel for where routes are developing or where a quarterback might be going, you play so much faster than whatever your time speed is.
True.
He's a guy that has that, and then some. When you just look at the numbers, uh, he, two-time All American,
Mm-hmm.
team captain, and the Ravens, they love their captains.
Yep.
So anytime I see that, I'm always like, all right, let me pencil that in because I know that's their type. He's a smart player, trusts his eyes, makes plays on the football, and
Mm-hmm.
we know how much that's lacking on this team.
Definitely.
It just it can't be like I read a comment about him and they were like, oh, he's just in the right place at the right time, like as if like trying to diminish what he was doing. But it's like if he's doing it over and over again over multiple seasons, then that means he's putting himself in the spot to make plays.
Yep.
So it's not luck if you're doing it for multiple seasons. And I just love that about him. To me, he would be the perfect fit to put into this defense to allow
Mm-hmm.
Kyle to be back up around the line of scrimmage, because I think this dude, not only is he a true free safety,
Mm-hmm.
but he could be interchangeable. And to me, that's the big issue with a Marcus Williams, because Marcus Williams, we know he could play true high.
Yep.
We've seen him do that since he came into the NFL. The problem was in Orr system, they needed him to be interchangeable,
Yep.
and it just wasn't meshing. And I think a guy like Watts, he's worn so many hats for Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
He's comfortable playing up by the line of scrimmage or being on the back end. He can do both. And I think a guy like him, if you can plug him into this defense, I think it elevates it, because now we got Kyle back around the line of scrimmage where he can
Mm-hmm.
just be that queen on the chessboard and just wreak havoc like he did a couple seasons ago.
Agreed. Agreed. The strengths they have for him. What did Kyle run? Kyle ran slower than a 4.5, didn't he? At the combine.
I don't know the
I,
exact
I
number,
think
but it wasn't fast. That's for
right. I
sure.
know everybody was tripping because he ran a slower time. It's fast for us, but slower. But the thing is, like the reason I asked, because like you said, he plays a lot faster than that time says, and those instincts, that being able to diagnose run, pass, or even in the pass game, just pass combinations and being where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there, like you said, over and over. That ain't coincidence.
And
That's
Kyle ran a 4.59.
okay. And this is a little tick fast. I think he 4.58.
4.58. Yeah.
Yeah, he 4.58. So I don't hit that time doesn't bother me at all playing
No, not at all.
safety. And
Mm-mm.
his instincts make up for it. His ball skills make up for it. I would feel very comfortable with him on our defense. My question to you is, are you comfortable enough for him at 27 or 50, 59 maybe? Is that the right number? Or 50, whatever it is.
59 is second round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would definitely not in the first round.
Okay.
Not in the first round. In the second round, like, yeah, I have to have a discussion about it. But it depends who else is on there. And obviously that's the cop out answer. That's the answer I always give. It's like, oh, who else is on the board? But I
but
know,
that matters though.
yeah, and I know for sure he'll definitely be one of my top rated guys if he's there at 59. I can say
Mm-hmm.
that for sure. Like, he'll probably be in like top 5 of whoever's there.
Gotcha. And that's the strengths for him to have did I do that? Opportunistic and plays the ball well. Combined for 13 interceptions over the past 2 seasons. No other FBS player has reached double digits. Terrific route instincts and sees things before they happen to jump and throw in lanes. And that's what I talked about with the instincts. Only one pass interference penalty in his career. One.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, Runs with conviction, allowing him to play faster than the time speed. We talked about that. Adequate size measurables by NFL standards. Will create with the ball in his hands. Combined 273 interception return yards over the past 2 seasons, including a 100-yard return. Doesn't get caught up with eye candy and stays glued to run keys. So you got a guy that can play the deep free, the too high, and a fight and get in there on the run game.
Like that. That's why I like him so much. Because the Ravens could do so much with him and just be chilling on the back end.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, voted team captain in 2023 and 2024. The Ravens love that. And then lastly, played 55 games in college. Didn't miss a game the past 3 seasons with plenty of special team. They talked about this at the Liars lunch, saying the scouts know every special team rep from every player. So, hey, you might be looking at a Raven right here. You might be looking at it, especially if he's in the second round. That word special teams, that hey, they see a special teams, John ears do this. they perk up. Let me see what them stats at. Oh, these ads trying to pop up. So he had no interceptions the first 3 years. Only played in 2 games the first one. He had 7 in 2023 and 6 last year. So I mean, hey, that's going to get the ball. That's almost Forbes like when Forbes came out of Mississippi State. Forbes was getting all them interceptions and whatnot. But Forbes was Mr. Pick 6, but I don't even know if Forbes still in the league right now. I know he got traded to the Rams. I don't know if he's still in the league. All right, so that is Xavier Watts. And we'll see the Beast has him the number 3 safety and the 54th ranked prospect in their thing. Appreciate the deuce, Rave. Rave says, I know Nick Imanwari is going to hurt feelings. If he's picked by the Ravens, he's going to hurt my feelings. He picked by the Ravens, he's going to hurt my feelings.
Me and you both.
I like these. I like this and some other cats way better than him. I like the number 1 safety. We all know who that is. That's the kid from that's Starks. Number 2 is listed is probably Imanwari, but I like Watts better than him, and I like another guy that we're gonna talk about in a little bit better than him as well. Yeah, good segue to. Yeah, when is he next? Let's see.
I think you did say he is.
Let's see. Add the stage. There we go. Yeah, great segue. Great segue into the guy that I really, really like. So those were Chris. The first 3 were Chris's. These next 3 are mine. So this is my dude right here. Andrew Makuba, safety from Texas. He's a senior. December 7th, 02, 5'11", 186. Arm length 30, 10-yard split, 157, 4.45 in a 40, and a 7.15 3-cone no bench. What I like about him, versatility, but when I see him in the Ravens uniform, I see him as a strictly free safety that allows Kyle to go do other stuff. Because as far as being a center fielder, to me, this is the guy. He got ball skills. He plays with a high motor. Now, in man coverage is a little iffy. And tackling, he definitely don't want none of that. But if he going to play that deep middle when we go 1 high, I'm cool with that. Size, 5'11", 186, but size don't matter to me when we got a guy like Ardarius doing what he does. Ardarius is probably smaller than that.
Good point.
And Ardarius plays like that. So his size, even though I got it as a negative, it don't really bother me because it's the heart. Measure the heart. Like what T.I. say, he 5 something with the soul of a 6'4" killer, something like that. So that's what I think about him. Marcus dropped 2. He says Nick Imanwari reminds me of Shaquille Thompson.
Then he spent he didn't write Imanwari.
Nick Imasori.
That's cold. That's cold.
Well, I ain't catch it at first. That cold-blooded. That's cold right there, Marcus. But Makuba's a ball hawk. Watts a ball hawk. Starks is definitely that. What do you think about Andrew Makuba?
Yeah, Makuba, he's somebody I had my eye on for the last couple of years. Last year he was at Clemson, and he looked like he was going to come out, but he decided not to. Ended up transferring to Texas, and
if I'm not mistaken, he's from Austin too. If I'm not mistaken,
yeah, I believe so. I think he is from Austin. Well, no, I think he's from Africa, but I think he moved to Austin.
Yeah, that.
Uh, so he kind of went back home, quote unquote. But yeah, I liked him. I obviously versatile guy, and he actually took over that Jade Barron role because Jade Barron was playing the Andrew Makuba role
Hmm.
uh, before he got there, and we know Barron went to play outside corner this past season, and Makuba was the one who was lining up in the slot. Sometimes deep safety. And I thought he did well, and I thought it was a hell of a decision. Sometimes you see guys go back to school and their draft stock kind of tanks a little bit, but I think Texas really showcased what he can do and really helped him boost his stock because uh, after his freshman season at Clemson, it kind of was a little shaky. But at Texas, he showed he could be a versatile guy, line up in multiple areas for the defense. He wasn't shy when it came to run support.
Hmm.
And even though he's not the biggest guy in the world, I thought he ran the alley with no hesitation. And to be able to run the alley, there are dudes who are way bigger than him
Hmm.
who don't run the alley that way with no hesitation. So I thought he was that to me. That's a mental makeup kind of
Right.
deal, and you kind of alluded to that with our Darius Washington, and he kind
Hmm.
of had some of that in him. Now when he gets there, it's not always he doesn't have that kind of thump.
So let me running the alley and producing when you get in the alley is two different things. That's where he going. That's where
Right.
he going. And running the alley, you still can do well, as long as you know your help's coming. Your thing
Hmm.
is just don't let them get outside of your alley. Now, if you get in the point where you got to do something in that alley, carry on, Chris.
But then now transitioning over to the coverage part of the game. I thought when he was in zone, like he was just a tremendous playmaker.
Mm-hmm.
He was a guy who could read the quarterback like a book. He was damn near out of his break before the quarterback even started throwing the ball. And that goes to another football IQ thing, and that's
Yep.
something that we're looking for. We're looking for guys who want to be dogs, have that football IQ, and can be a playmaker. And with these last two guys, they fit that bill perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching him and I'm like, I like this dude a lot. And he reminded me of somebody who I was a big fan of last year. And it was Javon Bullard
Okay.
coming out
From
of Georgia.
Georgia, right?
Yeah, coming out
Yeah.
of Georgia, got drafted to the Packers. And
Packers.
when he
Mm-hmm.
was healthy, he had a good year for the Packers. He was kind of like a little bit of that glue for the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Makuba could have the same kind of impact on the defense because when you bring in a guy that smart who brings the energy like that, he those guys, they can bring a room together. And obviously if he came to our secondary room, he wouldn't be the most talented guy, but he would definitely be one of the smartest as the years go
Mm-hmm.
along. And anytime you can add smart guys to the secondary, there's a plus in my book.
And DaCosta did mention that I know the time is coming up on for our Darius to make a decision, and they said that his decision whether staying or not staying does not affect how they're going to draft. So whether he signs the tenure whatever it is he got to sign or don't, it shouldn't affect to what we got. And we already got two guys sitting there waiting on the wings anyway. I know Sanusi and Bo Brave like, yeah, don't sign it. Don't sign it at all. Go get your money somewhere else. I know them two
Hmm.
sitting there. And then you could pick a guy like any of the three we mentioned, to come in and maybe not start, but definitely, do whatever to put Kyle back in his role from 2 years ago. And that way we can see all kinds of havoc be wreaked by the line of scrimmage. But as far as the strengths for Makuba from the Beast, from Dane Brugler's The Beast, it says shot out of a cannon when driving downhill on run fits, and that's what Chris talked about running the alley. Shows good feel for run game geometry to leverage outside run pass with pursuit angles. And again, he don't, long as he know the angles and know where his help is coming from, he don't have to go in there and knock heads off. He got to
Hmm.
go and force the stuff back to the people that tackle for real. As long as he keep his outside shoulder free and don't let runs get outside of him, if that's his run fit, and the guys, the linebackers or the defensive linemen come in pursuit, he did his job. So
Hmm.
he don't, even though he's not the great tackler, as long as he knows, hey, I need to be here so I can turn it back so these guys can actually make the tackle. That's football IQ to me. That's playing the game
Right.
the right way.
Yep.
Comes feet and comes to balance on the move as a tackler, drops pass to tackle low and hard and take the feet out from ball carry. Now we know all them guys, they love to cut. That what is it on the stick? That down flip on the controller. Them lit guys love to cut. They dive straight at ankles, and he's no different. Tracks eyes of the quarterback and flashes closing bursts to arrive at the football. What I talked about with the hips from Watts, Makuba don't have no issue with the hips. His hips are fluent. They nice. They nice. And I know that sounded crazy, me talking about another man's hips, but his hips good.
About to push Akira on.
Right. His hips don't lie. Showed a more confident ball hawking skills as a senior, and keep in mind his first 3 years were at Clemson. Driven individual. Left Clemson because he wasn't being pushed enough. Wow.
Damn.
And Venerables, who was at Clemson, who's now the head coach at Oklahoma, who also had a Trent Simpson playing lights out too when he was there. He said he's easy to coach and cold-blooded on the field. He's a self-starter and really ambitious. So he left Dabo because he wasn't getting pushed enough. But Dabo's supposed to be one of these great coaches. Okay. Played 50 career games and made plays on kickoff.
Here we go.
Return and punt coverage. There we go. The radar go up when you get special teams reps in your strengths.
Yeah, John Harbaugh, he just picked his head up because he heard you say that.
they looking big time. All right, so that is Andrew Makuba, safety from Texas. We've talked about 2 safeties so far, Watts and Makuba. Let's get our next guy up there. Add the stage. This is a guy that a lot, and these next 2 that I picked, I ain't gonna say they necessarily my favorites, but because so many people that are, I want to say, loyal to coming and watching these shows have mentioned these names, I wanted to put them out there and as a thank you to the people that come, and watch this show all the time. And I see most of the chats, even though I don't get a chance to respond to it because I'm pressing a lot of buttons back here, but I see most of it. And so these next 2 guys are a thank you to the people that always say, hey, do XYZ, do XYZ. I see it. It's tough to get to pushing all these buttons on this back end. But this is Deontay Thornton Jr., wide receiver from Tennessee. 11/30/02's birthday, height 6'5", weight 205, arm length 32 1/8, 10-yard split 1.51, ran a 4.340 at the combine. What I like about Thornton, on top of his height, he has a pretty good release package for a guy that big. Most of the guys that tall, they release package be kind of iffy, and they more rely more on either jump ball stuff or speed stuff. But he has a pretty good release package to me. Obviously, his speed, hand usage in that release package. When people try to press him, he does a good job with his hands. And down the field, when guys try to body him up, he does a decent job down the field. And then the separation at the top of routes. He does a good job of, like, if it's an end cut or if it's a post, of sticking that foot in the ground and then accelerating past the defender or running away from the defender. What I don't like about him, he wasn't as consistent as I would have liked to. And then I got route tree. Now, the route tree ain't necessarily his fault. Tennessee plays this wonky, wide, Ole Miss style. Well, it's Tennessee style, but Ole Miss play a version of it. Offense, and like a lot of times you could barely even see the receivers. Sometimes they be out there stacked up.
It might as well be standing on the sideline.
Right. It's tough to evaluate his route tree coming from Tennessee, just like Jalen Hyde. Jalen Hyde had me fooled, and he plays in the Jalen Hyde role in Tennessee. And so it's tough to evaluate him as far as the routes, but that size and that speed and that aggression, I really like. What you like about Thornton?
Not much. Just the physical stuff. He's tall. He's fast. But after that, that's probably where it stops for me. Obviously, he has the incredible measurables. Being what is he, 6'4", running 6'4", almost 6'5",
a beast. Yeah.
205. Obviously, a physical freak, running in the 4.3s, which is crazy. But like we say, speed and height, all of that, it's not everything. And to me, like when I would see him in the open field, he wouldn't beat anybody. Like if he had the angle, he would beat them. But if he catches the ball and then he tries to take off, he didn't have that burst.
Yeah. And he definitely don't have no yak either.
Yeah, he has he has a build up speed,
Mm-hmm.
where it takes a little bit of time to get into that gear. But if he catches the ball, stops, and then he has to turn, that same
It's
speed is
null
not
and
there.
void.
He needs
Yep.
that runway.
Yep.
Which is fine. There's a place for guys who need that build up speed and just be a deep threat. So that's fine.
And that's what I like. And I ain't mean to cut you off, but
No, you're
that's
good.
what I don't think we don't have to have 6 guys that do the same thing.
Hmm.
We need guys to do different stuff. And we don't have a guy to take, not saying Deontay is the guy. We just don't have a guy that say, hey, just go split them sun guns and make them play too high. Because if you got that guy, I don't think our offense is stoppable at all. If you got a speed guy that makes people, when he come on the field, a corner, and I got to make sure the safety roll that way. So that means they ain't part of the run game, which with Henry and Lamar, that if we even if Tez is that guy, we need somebody to just blow the top off of it. Somebody. But I'm sorry.
Right. And no, I like a dude like Tez more than him. Another thing, like, it's just his hands. Like, his hands were frustrating. Every time, like, he would get a ball, he was supposed to, like, he was catching it with his body instead of his, like, putting his hands out and catching them with his mitts. I thought, like, especially when trying to dunk on people, he didn't really extend his arms out like the way that somebody who's almost 6'5" should be. I thought he was passive at the catch point in a way, and didn't really play it as strong as you would want somebody that big. So it's very, very disappointing. I thought, uh, you know, I mean, I wasn't the biggest Tez fan, but
Mm-hmm.
I like Tez a lot more than I like this dude. Not to say that he won't be successful, because I've been wrong hundreds of times. But yeah, I think it's going to be a long, long road for him.
And the people like him. Well, my listeners like him because he's from Baltimore. So that's one of the reasons why I put him up there. And there is a place for him on somebody's team. I think it might be a place for him on this team, but he ain't the total package. Not saying he can't evolve into be a better wide receiver, but right now he's a role guy. He's a run the 9, run the post, run the deep over, and hopefully block. That's pretty much the extent of. But the thing is,
Mm.
Chris,
I
that's
did
what
see
you
him
see at
block.
Tennessee.
I did see him block. He is willing to block. Now,
Yeah.
he's not Miles Boykin or anything like that, or Jawan Jennings when it comes to blocking, but he is willing to block.
Yeah, and that's a plus for me, him blocking, because with the way we run the ball, you need guys blocking down the field. And I challenge y'all to go look at highlights of any long running back runs. There would be at some point a wide receiver blocking down the field to make sure that run scores or goes for 40, 50, or whatever. Without them wide receivers blocking out there, those hit it up the middle runs, unless they just got blazing speed, they don't score. And so I love a receiver that's gonna block, because I'm gonna find a way to get you the ball if you show me you willing to block. And again, like with Thornton, there's a role for him. Depends on where he goes and how they're gonna use him. But if you bring him in to be a number one, and he's not gonna be a number one anyway, because he ain't gonna get drafted no time soon. Like all the mocks I do, I get him in like the 6th or 7th round.
Right.
I'm trying to see where they got him at on here. Projected 5th or 6th round. So that's he'll be there if you want somebody later on. He'll be there. He'll come in and be your 6th guy or your practice squad guy, and maybe evolve into something. Maybe even be a gunner on special teams.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Strengths for him: elite combination of height, length, and speed. Covers large area in a short time using incredibly long strides. And if you got long strides, you definitely ain't breaking in a lot of quick routes. And if you stop, you slow as everybody else now, because it takes you a minute to build up, like you said. Accelerates at the top of his routes to create separation, and that's on. Well, matter of fact, I just keep reading and say it. Post and verticals, and that's what he had to run in Tennessee. So I would say, what's they coach? Hyper?
Yeah, Josh
Tennessee,
Heupel.
yeah, he used them perfect. That's what he was good at. That's what they used him for. Deep routes, goals, posts, deep overs, and the block. That's what they used him for, and that's what you see. So he was perfect in that system, but that crap ain't gonna work in the NFL. You got to be able to do it all. It says show sync and gear down when working back to the ball. Not all the time. Elite success rates on throws more than 20 yards because he's a deep ball guy. Can track and adjust pace and confidently look the ball in his hands. Keeps foot on the gas pedal through the catch point for yak opportunities. That's if he gets hit in stride. If he don't get hit in stride, yak ain't happening because he can't restart them fast enough. It takes them a minute. It's like the Flintstones when they got to with their feet, they got to get it going before the car should take off.
Yeah.
And it got a 76.9% of his catches in 2024 resulting in a first down or touchdown. Why? Because they're throwing the ball to him down the field. That's Deontay Thornton Jr., wide receiver from Tennessee, 6'5", 205, 4, 340. And the measurables are awesome, but that don't mean he's gonna be an awesome football player.
Right.
I see my cousin joined us in the chat after he just called my phone. And I told him I was on YouTube. Hey, what's up, cuz? Hey, I will say this. My cousin at the bottom down there, his and I don't know if she's going, but his baby got accepted in Harvard.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if she's going.
Congratulations.
His baby got accepted in Harvard.
Damn.
That's big time.
That's a big deal.
That's big time. She probably smarter than all us. Put all our brains together. She probably smarter than all us.
I don't know why you put probably in there.
But yeah, that's big for the family. Big for the family.
Congratulations.
Let's go on to number 6. James Pierce Jr. Another intriguing knucklehead, projected top 10 pick, but now sliding all the way down to may not even be a first round pick. James Pierce Jr. His junior, not in namesake, but coming out of Tennessee. He looked like Willie Simmons in this picture. 6'5", 245, arm length 32 3/4, 10-yard split 156, 40-yard dash 4.47. What I like about him, super fast get off. He's a playmaker on the edge, and he's scheme versatile. He can be your edge rusher. He can drop back and do some stuff. He ain't just I don't think he's just a one-trick pony, with the exception of him playing the run. And most of this stuff I got for negatives are runs. Edge setter, his run defense. I do think he needs to find counter moves that he can deploy immediately, and not where he has to think about it. Like he's running up the field. Oh, I can spin. They need to be quick twitch. I mean, he needs to know, okay, I ain't beat him up the field, I can spin back or do something. It's like he's thinking, oh, I need to counter this move. And then he goes into it if his initial move don't work. But a lot of times his initial move work. What you got about James?
Yeah, like you said, quick twitch athlete, jumps off the line of scrimmage, as well as anybody in this draft. You really see that speed on display when he's coming off the snap of the ball. And I think right now he's a flash player, which at the moment is, still looking to be a consistent threat. He has the quick hands when fighting off the offensive lineman's hands. To me, he wants to win with speed and finesse right away. Like that's how he wants to win. To me, he's lacking some mass some mass and some strength in order to be a real threat when it comes to the power side of the game. And
I think that's why his run stuff is the way it is too.
Yeah, and offensive linemen in the NFL level, you can have all the speed in the world, but eventually you're gonna have to go through them.
Yep.
And right now he's kind of that's not a part of his game right now where he wants to win. And not saying that he doesn't have that, because I still think you just look at his frame, he looks like a basketball player. So how's he going to look in 2 years? When he has some more weight on him, when he learns a little bit more of the tricks of the trade, when he taps into that strength side of his game, because there are small flashes of it where you see it, but it's just not consistent right now. You'll see it like maybe once or twice a game. But for him to become a top flight pass rusher in the NFL, he needs to develop that side of his game more, because that just wanting to win with speed and finesses, it's not going to cut it at the NFL level. And I thought you hear about all of that stuff with him off the field, but I thought he played, I thought his motor was fine. I didn't there would be plays where on the backside where he would chase the running back down, and it's not just like one or two times. Like he was consistently chasing the running back down, coming off the backside. And like to me, there are some players in this draft, some edge rushers in this draft who, if the play's on the opposite side, they're not tracking that running back
at all.
And that's something that I thought he did consistently well. So I don't know how the off the field stuff is, if he's a Jermaine Burton type of head case. We're not privy to that information, but it's going to be interesting to see where he goes, because I think he just off of the skill set, the athletic ability that he has, the ceiling that he has, I think he should be a no-brainer top 20 pick. But it's that side that we don't know when it comes to the off the field stuff. So we shall see in a week.
Right. You mentioned him tracking the running backs down from the opposite side. And I was trying to think back to the guys that we've watched. Who have I seen do that? And I've only seen 2 people do, other than James, do that. As a Ruku from Boston College, and Green from Marshall. Them are the only 2 guys I've seen track the running back going in the opposite direction from them. And James has a 4.47. So if he unblocked and you ask for him to tackle your quarterback, because he's gonna come off that edge wide open. And if they do hit the hole, he got enough speed to run them down too, running a 4.4, which is faster than most of the running backs that got time in this combine or this draft cycle. The strengths they have for James is tall, athletic build, and long arms, explosive first step with fast hands to escape feet and blocks. But that's that speed and finesse that you talked about. Gains ground in a hurry to beat tackles to the corner, speed. Chop and rip hands are heavy to help pry open blockers' shoulders. It's okay. It's gonna have to be better though, because he's gonna deal with grown men strength this coming season. So he has a good base with the cross chop and hands and whatnot, but it's gonna have to get better. It's gonna have to improve. Rushes to the depth of the pocket and works back toward the ball. That's not talked about enough for pass rushers, because a lot of young pass rushers, they just gonna run that hoop regardless of what's on the other side of that hoop. Him being able to rush the pass and understand, hey, I can't rush past this guy. I got to come back, because all a good quarterback just gonna do is step up,
right,
and deliver the ball, or step up and run, if depending on the situation. So if he's understanding, okay, I got to the top of my rush, I don't need to keep going because he's just gonna step up. I can hopefully have a counter to get me back inside, or just stop and see what's going on. Either one is fine. Shows basic understanding of steps to affect the tackle and create a two-way goal opportunities. Downhill speed test, reaction quickness of interior blockers, guarding A gap. I can see him on pass rush situations being put over the center, and like some of that stuff Myles Garrett do. Not saying he's Myles Garrett, but I can see him being put over the center and just completely annihilating the center with speed. Now, if the center get his hands on it, he might get choke slam. But I can see him, abusing some centers that aren't the top tier of the league, with speed, especially if they go 5 across the front where there's no possibility of doubling. I can see them, and that's how coaches take their best talent and put them in the best situations. Coaches do that, but you take a guy like Chris Jones, take a guy like who else that's on the outside that rushing is Chris Jones, the one that comes to mind.
Micah.
And Garrett, because they'll go like, look, okay, Falele, you the weakest link, I'm lining up with Falele. And that's their decision to do that. But coaches, you can take your best player and just make sure he can't be doubled, and then just let him do what he do. And that's hopefully, what he does. But I like Pierce right now, and tell me if you agree with this. He's just in this body right now, he's just a pass rusher. I don't think he can be an every down edge at this moment. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. But I think the Ravens are in a unique position right now where they don't need somebody who has everything right now. I think in years past, when they've needed a pass rusher to be everything, I think I would scratch him off the list in a hurry. But for right now, they have Owe and they have Kyle Van Noy as their starters. And obviously you have what's his name? The other dude, Ole Miss dude.
Tavius.
They have Tavius. So yeah, right now he would be a perfect complement to that core group that they have right now. So yeah, I'd be on board with him being the pick at 27. Now, is he my first choice? I don't think so. I think he's at the bottom of that list of guys who I would want at 27.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a guy like Chuck Smith, you take this athletic freak and you trust the kind of coaching that he'll get from a Chuck Smith and not having to worry about doing so many jobs in the defense. So
Hey, Joseph
I
say,
take him.
why you didn't call Ojabo name?
Oh, I only name people who play.
There's your answer, Joseph. People we know they number. That's what he called. People we know they number. What is Ojabo's number? Is it 9? Is it? No, it is 90. Ain't it? Is it 90?
90, yeah.
Okay, we don't see that out that much. But that's what he is. As for me to close out Pierce, whatever the thing that has pushed him way down the board, I hope is minuscule. But to me, if he's there at 27, I think it's almost a no-brainer to me. If he's there, he shouldn't be there. He should not be there at 27. But if he is, I think it's a no-brainer. And especially with us picking up the extra cornerback, I feel like we need to be either offensive line or defensive line with this first pick. So if he there, he been there in a lot of mocks. I don't know why. He started off not being there in a lot of mocks, but of late, he's been there. And he's not an old cat either. 21, he'll be 22 in October. So we like the younger guys as well. More time to develop and potentially maybe stay on the team if they don't price themselves out. But those are the 6 we have for you today. Chris, out of these 6, let me bring it back up. Out of these 6, and it says Jacob Parrish, Walter Nolan, Xavier Watts, Makuba, Thornton, and Pierce. Who is your favorite one out of these 6?
My favorite, or who I think is the best? Because those answers are different.
Let's start with favorite.
Favorite is that dude right there, Jacob Parrish.
Parrish.
Yeah, okay. I like that play style. I gravitate towards those feisty dudes. Okay. The best.
Hold on. Let me do my favorite.
My bad.
My favorite will be Makuba.
Okay.
Favorite is Makuba. So Chris's favorite is Parrish. My favorite is Makuba. Now, who do you have is the best out of this 6?
For me, by far, Walter Nolan. I think Walter Nolan is the best one out of the bunch.
I agree. That's the same person I had as far as the best. This dude right here can change games, and I still have Super Bowl hangover. I know Super Bowl was played in February. It's April 15th. I still got Super Bowl hangover. I want as many good defensive linemen, interior defensive linemen as we can find, because you can get pass rush and stop the run the way the Eagles did. You got yourself something. You don't have to have the greatest cornerbacks or the greatest linebackers or the greatest safeties. If you got guys up front that's going to stop the run and get after the passer, that's going to change the game. And just keep in mind, I'm going to throw this stat out there again to you guys. The Eagles got 27 pressures on Mahomes. No blitzes. Not one blitz. At one point, if I'm not mistaken, Fangio said he just started calling the same play. Because they was getting that much pressure on him. And then, covering them guys enough to get to Mahomes and get him off his spot. So to me, I build that interior defensive lineup. If a tackle presents himself that can give you some position versatilities, do that as well. I got Super Bowl hangover because we still got to go through Mahomes to get to the Super Bowl because he keep getting there. And so if that's how you beat Mahomes, I feel like that's what we need to do, because I think we can beat everybody else. And we lost to them by what? Shoe size?
Yeah.
In the opener. Closing out, because this is our last one. Through the process, what tape did you have the most fun watching?
That's a good question. I would probably say Donovan Ezeraku. I would probably say. I like this tape a lot.
That's a good one. That is the edge from Boston College. That's been mocked to us here a lot lately. That's pretty good. Let me see. I got a guy that I'm thinking about, but I want to make sure I'm saying it. I want to make sure it's right before I talk about it. Okay, I got it. My cornerback from Iowa State. Trying to think of his name. Porter. I really, really like Porter's progression. To see him kind of play like, what am I doing? To then this year be like a really good long corner with great ball skills. Probably he ain't definitely not a first rounder. Maybe not be a second rounder. I think he's going to second because of his height and his speed and his ball skills. But I really enjoyed watching Porter's tape, and I know my favorite play is the play versus Iowa when he went in. I guess he bit on the run and took on like a tackle or a tight end or something, but it was play action, and he leaked back out to his coverage, and the tight end ran right past him. They threw it to the tight end, and he went and got that thing. Boy, interception.
Yeah, Iowa game.
Yeah, so that was my favorite play from them, but my overall my favorite prospect is Travis. I'll go ahead and say that. But I ain't had to watch a lot of Travis games because I didn't miss any of their games, so I ain't had to watch a lot of Travis film.
Yeah, I would say the most fun was probably like other than the ones that we just named, probably Genty.
Yeah, Genty's is good too.
I mean, because I was watching.
He's a lot better than I thought, Chris.
I was watching him over the summer, and I was like, "Ooh, this dude is good." And then he came through for this year, and I was like, "Oh my god!" My favorite tape against any team is him against Oregon. That's my favorite tape from this group of prospects from that game.
I expected him not to do well. And Oregon got a boatload of defensive prospects.
Yep.
He still did this thing. That dude, he's hard to tackle. He's just fast enough. He can run you inside. He can run you outside. He's the complete back, man. Only thing he don't have is like super duper speed, but you don't need that in the NFL. Right. That dude can go. He can go. And like I said, I didn't think he was that good until I actually sat down and watched some all 22 of them and saw how he manipulated blocks and cut off blocks because his old line wasn't the greatest.
Right.
His team wasn't the greatest, but he was.
Damn sure was.
And lastly, no, we'll say that for what we got going on later. Now we'll say that for tomorrow or the next day, whatever that is. If you don't know, let me take this off. Get us back up here. I ain't got to share no more. I can stop sharing. Well, I took Chris out of here. My bad. If you don't know, we'll be recording our, what are we calling our draft, our tournament style draft
bracket.
Yeah. And Chris tweeted it on Twitter earlier, and me, Chris, Kerry, Mike, and UK Raven James. What's his name last name?
James Ogden. He's Jonathan Ogden's nephew.
We'll be debating our picks. It's my pick anyway, ain't it?
I think yeah, that's right.
So I do as soon as we finish this. We got guys that we are picking from the bracket, and what happens is we have to debate the other person as to why that person should move on to the next round. And at the end of it, it's collectively we are saying this is who the Ravens are going to draft on the 24th or whatever the day it is. I think, Chris, you tweeted this to somebody today. We've hit 3 out of 5, and Kerry is 5 out of the last 5 or 5 out of the last 6, something like that. What was that tweet about?
Well, so Kerry predicted Hollywood Brown when nobody was predicting Hollywood Brown, and people were getting on Kerry, and that's actually how me and Kerry met, because I was like, yo, like, I fuck with this pick, like, you know, you making a bold statement right now, and people are jumping all over it. But if you make a bold statement and you back it up with an intelligent reason why,
right?
Like, I may not agree with you, but I can respect your thought process and how you came to that conclusion. And he got that right, and he got Kyle Hamilton right. So shout out to Kerry, man. Kerry be on the low, but Carry on his sniper shit.
he be on the grind. He Black Ops. He out there doing Black Ops. So we'll be recording that soon, and it'll get out to you when it get out to you. But that's always a fun thing for me to be a part of, and it's also fun to watch it back when and like read the chat when you guys get a chance to see it, because that's interesting to see how your comments go along with what we're saying. So that's what we got coming up. So this is the last Draft Junkies until January, I hope. Hopefully February. Hopefully February. That means we still playing until February. But I appreciate everybody that has came through for every episode. We gave you a lot more episodes than we did last year, because last year was I don't think we even started till April.
We got a late start. Yeah, we got a late start. But we got a few of the dudes who the Ravens drafted. So
we did, sure did, and hopefully that'll be the case this year. You can come back to whatever we said about a certain individual. Watch it, and I still plan on putting out a few more draft profiles, but it's just easier to come on here and talk to you guys, because sometimes it ain't worth the time sometimes, and those YouTubers, y'all know what I'm talking about. But with that being said, man, we appreciate y'all for this season 2 of Draft Junkies. We'll be here next Thursday for the draft show starting at 8:00. We're not going on early because they're gonna start at 8, and they probably gonna talk for 30 minutes for the first pick. So there's no use of starting at 7 or 7:30 or whatever. Might as well start at 8 when they come on TV, and by the time they get to a pick, we'll be said all our hellos and crack jokes and did all that thing, and then we can get down to business. So we're gonna start at 8, and like I said, no need to come on early. And on that note, man, make sure you go subscribe to Deep Cover Podcast, because that's where the bracket is going to be. If you're not subscribed here, please do so. Check out, let me see who was in here. Big Reg was in here. He has a channel. 86 Ghost has a channel. I can't remember who else was in here, but it pops up when the other streamers come through. Rave Kingdom, appreciate the donos. I think that was Rave Kingdom. Yeah, Rave Kingdom with 2, Marcus Frazier with 2. Appreciate you guys. And on that note, we're going to enjoy the rest of our Tuesday and watch. I know I'm going to watch the play-in games. I don't know what this basketball connoisseur to my right going to do. Well, this way. I don't know what this basketball connoisseur going to do with his afternoon, but I'm going to watch the play-in games.
I'm going to go play basketball.
Oh, that's even better. I can't do that no more. I wish I could.
I'm a guru, so I already know who's going to win the games. That's why I don't got to watch them.
Give me predictions.
I'm a basketball guru.
Orlando or the Hawks? Who you got?
Orlando. Come on now.
Golden State and I forgot who Golden State. Chad, who Golden State play?
The Grizzlies. Come on, man. You know who you talking to here.
Who you got?
Golden State, man.
Okay. So
come on, man. The basketball guru.
Book it. The basketball savant. Chris just joking. Finna go shoot some jumpers as we speak. That's all I can do now. Shoot. As for the run around, no sir. All right, guys. Peace, y'all.
Peace.